This week on the Uninteresting Car Show, we talk about
Lexus, again.
automation, because it's great,
Go watch our video on that. Genesis.
again.
The Honda Z car.
The Honda Z600, which my dad has a whole thing about, which we'll tell you more about, and
Drifting.
Initial D. Damn it, Formula D.
Stay tuned!
Stay tuned.
Jag åkte ner till Stockholm och då fick jag se glänsande Porschar och BMW. Men jag har en kärra som är bättre, den då det är en Volvo 142.
Okay, this is the special episode. This is COVID-19, quarantine, shelter in place, Animal Crossing, Minecraft edition, also automation.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Awesome.
David, go.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of, we released that automation video recently. We're going to do a testing video for that as well. And I just watched like half of it today, and I'm a big fan of my own work.
Me
clearly.
too. I'm really good.
I think we should do it again. And in the car, I was thinking of some ideas. Right now, I can only think of two that I was thinking of. That's why I should write it down in the moment. But whatever. We were in a previous episode. We were talking about like a modern fleet car, like a modern sedan.
Oh yeah.
Like body on frame. We should do one because you can select a ladder frame.
Yeah, you could just make a.
We should make like a modern fleet car, like a
really
modern
good.
police car, and then we could do like chases and stuff as our like tests, and like one of us could get into some like a 350Z knockoff, and then the other person has to chase them down on like a highway. That'd be really fun. I think
That'd be really good.
in our like modern
awesome.
fleet car. Yeah, so that I want to do that.
Okay, we'll do that.
And also, like if Group B still existed, and we make like a modern homologation rally car, I think that'd be really fun.
These are great.
Yeah.
This is why the creativity comes from that side of the room. I just do the technical stuff. Yeah, those are awesome.
So I want to do those.
I don't think I had any more. There was one I can't remember it. Move on.
Oh, I saw an LC500. That's the correct one, right? The
big
really
new
nice
one.
looking
Yeah, the Japanese Aston Martin.
Yes. That, okay. I saw it today.
We're back to Lexus again.
I know, this for the 5th episode in a row.
Every
I
single
promise
episode.
This is going to be really short. Probably not, but whatever. So I saw it driving today, and I got to thinking, like, I've mentioned this to you before. I don't think we said it on the podcast. The new Supra that's out, yeah, it's a Supra, right? But it's really like a BMW.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's bad. I actually like the car. I initially didn't like it, but I've warmed up to it, and I think it's pretty sweet.
Yes.
And I'd probably buy it over the BMW equivalent.
Oh, I would for so many reasons.
But I was driving past that LC today, and I was like, this is, I feel like more of the old Supra than this new Supra is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just looking at the ass of the thing, it's a thick one. Like, it's got some cheeks on it, just like the old Supra did. Except okay, sue me for this. I think the old Supra ass was kind of not the greatest. It was
Mark
big,
IV?
but I don't think it had that good detail. You know what I mean?
Good
But
detail.
the LC500, it's got a good ass, and it's like, makes good power, all this, and it's like, I feel like the shape is even similar to the Supra, and it's a Toyota. I mean, it's a Lexus, but it's a Toyota, right? Sure, it's not like a turbocharged 6-cylinder, but I mean, I feel like it's making as much power or more, And I feel like it's going to be just as much of a dyno queen if people care about it, because they do make good V8s. Okay, out of the price range, but also like the RC coupe, I feel like that maybe even more is like a Supra.
Okay, so does that mean that all cars from here on out, as far as you're concerned, are judged by the ass end of them?
Yeah.
That's what the
I care a lot more about the ass end of cars than the front end, I'm going to be honest. I'm more of an ass guy myself. But it's like they don't, people, I mean, there's, I guess, like a little bit of a following behind like the RC as far as like modification and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not the Supra, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, why?
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive compared to this?
I don't know.
The Supra's $100K now.
Well, not the new one, but like, I guess
it is too
The
expensive.
old one, well, that's because people are stupid. I hate JDM fanboys. I've said this every episode.
It's not
every
got
time
like
we
a
talk about
Turbo
anything
6.
Japanese or Lexus,
It's
people
a V8,
who make them.
It's just fine. It's
That's
great.
the thing. Okay, going back to the original point you made. Going back to the original point you made about the whole, like, the LC is like the new one. The old Supra was the same as the SC, which is like what the LC replaces. It's the same chassis. So, theoretically, they can make it on there and then put, I don't know, some straight 6 in it. But they do whatever they want. Because to me, it seems like all their know-how in sports cars and stuff is going to Lexus instead of Toyota, or instead of both of them. Because it used to be Lexus was like just these luxury cars. Actually, no, because they were all rear-wheel drive. On a side note, really would like an IS300. But anyway, just keep going around Lexus and all that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I just don't understand why they didn't make the Supra around the RC chassis or the LC chassis, but do it like that.
I don't know, because some of that stuff, it doesn't make sense where... I don't know where the pricing is. That's probably part of it. Because I do know that the RC, the F, is compared to like an M4.
Okay.
And then, I don't know... The new GTR is way, way faster than the old GTR. The new... what's that other one that's fast?
The NSX.
Yeah, sorry. The new NSX is way faster than the old one.
Yeah.
And then the Supra is kind of the same.
Where's the new RX-7?
Oh, yeah.
Give it to us, Mazda. Come on.
Rip Mazda.
So holding out on us.
I wish they would. But
bring back like the Four Horsemen, you know?
That'd be great, especially if it was like super quick. But the thing is, I think it's an interesting choice to take for Toyota to make the new Supra kind of the same kind of car as the old one. Mm-hmm. Never mind, it only has 2 seats, which is the only reason I wouldn't have it, just because I want 4 seats in a car. But, you know, stuff like that. And then, you know, the Z cars, the Z car's always been the same thing. It's just been a sports car. Yeah. And the Supra almost competes more with that, like it used to do. Well, they were probably slower back then, but, you know, the 300ZX and things like that, those are all kind of the same thing. Now they've already gone up a step, and then Toyota's either playing it safe, just doing something different, whatever. But all the sports cars in the Toyota lineup aren't Toyotas. FRS is a Subaru. I mean, they're you know, Cove developed in the BMW and the Supra, or sorry, the BMW and the FRS or BRZ or GT86, whatever you want to call it. But then, I mean, technically the Corolla hatchback is, but that's not like a super quick thing. So almost like their rear drive sports cars are all. So I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know what the end goal is, but yeah. I know what you're talking about. The LC could be whatever. Okay, can we not talk about Lexus?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We gotta move on.
But
I have car news.
Let's hear it.
Due to the unique way in which COVID-19 has shut down the country, it was done online. This what's it called? Premiere. But the Genesis G80, the new one, came out, which is the one in the middle, and I think it looks great.
Oh, let me
look it up, because I don't think I've told you about it.
Genesis G80, or put new.
Yeah,
Genesis.
Yeah, there you go. But cool. That thing is like, okay, I'll just run down this. We're also talking about Hyundai again, which is, hey, it's whatever. We don't.
Wait, these are the brands we like. Okay?
I know. It's clear. Like we kind of like have our two sides of this, but anyway, they have a new 3.5 liter V6, also twin turbo, which is either going to replace or be a side to the 3.3 they already have, which makes 380 horsepower from the factory. They have a new 2.5 turbo, which makes like 300, I think. It's actually a fair amount of power from a 2.5 liter. They're axing the V8 from the G80.
Is it a V6?
No, yeah, they're both V6s.
Okay.
No, sorry. 2.5 straight 4. It's a big 4.
That's a
really big 4. And
that's
it's got a turbo
cool.
on it. That's why it makes like 300 horsepower. I don't know if they're going to bring the diesel here that's in like the GV80, the SUV. We'll see about that. Probably not, because of the American market. But anyway, all those new engines are coming out. I think it looks great. There's some talks of the fact that they don't have the V8 one, and they used to have the V8, the R spec and whatever, but Hyundai's on this whole thing. I don't know about Genesis, but Hyundai's on this whole thing with like the N brand and the N whatever, like the Veloster N and the i30N and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's going to be a version like that for Genesis, but I've heard some things that there might be, and then it might actually end up getting a V8 later on, and really, they might really actually finally make a go at the 5 Series, the M5.
Yeah.
Which should be really impressive. I mean, they hired their old M director from years ago and whatever, and that's why they're doing so much with stuff like that. But I think that car is going to be really, really good when it comes out. And then there's more. They did a really cool looking little coupe that came out recently. It was like a render kind of concept thing, but I think it's supposed to be electric. It looks like a mix between a Porsche and like a Lotus Elise and like a Renault Alpine and that kind of thing. That one's really great. Then they've also got like all this talks about they're developing like a mid-engine 400 horsepower chassis for something. Hyundai is. They're using a Veloster body on it to test it now, and it's either going to be like a Veloster, and we might see something like the old Renault Clio V6 that we never got. It's either going to be that, but I don't know. That might be too out of left field even for Hyundai.
Yeah,
because they've been doing a lot of stuff like that now. But we'll see. I don't know, but I'm very excited to see what they've been doing.
Hyundai's like the cool new company. You know what I mean?
They're cheap.
Like, they're doing all the interesting things.
Yes, they're doing all the stuff that, and maybe it's just because it's new, but the thing is, all their cars look like nothing else on the road.
Yeah. Which
is good or bad, depending on how you look on it, but they are definitely distinctive. Mm-hmm. They're cheaper than a lot of other stuff. They're better built than some things. They're pushing technology even more so than, like, some of the German companies. Like, they're... You know, everyone's got the TFT, LED display dashboard. There's no dials anymore. It's all screens. Genesis, and I don't think it's going in the Hyundais. All the Hyundais are getting them, but all the Genesis ones are 3D. And they have these cameras that stick out from underneath it. They're a little IR sensor. You can't really see it.
Okay.
And it creates like a I'm not sure. The thing is, you can't see it on video. Parallax effect. That's it. The problem is you can't see it on video.
Interesting.
So I have no idea what that looks like.
They're
doing like a bunch of stuff like that. They also have like this augmented reality thing where it'll turn on the front camera, and whenever you're doing your directions on navigation, it'll actually just drive you around the bend, and you can look at it on the screen. And
what?
It's just all this insane new stuff that why wouldn't you buy it? It's anyway. Yeah. That's my car. That's all I have.
Because I feel like a lot of manufacturers have stopped doing like cool stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like not safe to do cool stuff, and they just spend money doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
But Hyundai's still out there doing it, out there kicking it.
And the worst thing is, like, BMW, as much as like people complain, it was better back then when they made the 3, 5, and 7, and that was it. And I've said stuff like that before too. But I understand they need to get that market across so they make more money so they stay alive. But having driven some of the newer BMWs, they're not bad. They're great cars. Like, I drove a friend of mine's like X3M recently, and I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's an SUV that goes from 0 to 60 in like 3.5 seconds. It's all-wheel drive. It shifts like faster than a DCT, even though it's an automatic. But it's like if you had told me, because I was watching like an old rerun of some Top Gear episode, and Clarkson was driving. I think it was like a 430 like Scuderia, like a really hot Ferrari.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it does 0 to 60 in like 3 and change. If you had told me 10 years ago, when I was like a child, that, oh, by the way, did you know in like 10 years' time, BMW's going to make a SUV with 4 doors that weighs a hell of a lot, all-wheel drive, that's an automatic, that's going to go 0 to 60 faster than this car, I would have said, no, it's impossible.
I'm not a huge fan of SUVs, but that one's really crazy to me.
It's insane.
Like, just that big-ass hunk of metal, just like...
Yeah.
Can get up to speed that
and the
quickly.
other thing, again, I was like kind of originally going to dog on BMW. The car handles great, and the thing that BMW's always been really good at is they can take every car you drive, they can take that version of it, and everything you get into, no matter like what size car it is, it always feels like a smaller car whenever you're driving, especially whenever you're like really getting into it. It just somehow, they have this way of like shedding all the weight, and that thing is like, it's tighter than my Gen Coupe, which I realize is like a Hyundai and whatever, but that thing was hard. Yeah. And this is a car that you get into it and you go, oh, there's a lot of weight around me, but you go into a turn and it's like, oh, I'm in a M4. Like, it's insane that what they've been able to do with that.
I'm not sure if it was specifically the X3M, but I think it was. The rear tires are like super thick on them, and like the car is a little taller, so you can see what you're dealing with. And I've like been behind them on the road. I'm like, Jesus fucking, this is like it belongs at a drag strip. How thick the rear tires are, and I mean it probably needs every bit of it.
It's also that whole like 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. I realize it's all-wheel drive. It doesn't chirp a tire. It doesn't make any noise. It just like you put it in Sport Plus, put it in M mode, whatever. Foot on the brake, floor it, launch control comes on, take your foot off the brake, and it goes. And it's, like, without fault every single time. And then the even better thing is you put your foot down, you're driving, like, 60, you just put your foot down, blink, and then you're doing 120.
You want a GTR for the family?
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Also, the weird thing is, okay, I know it's an expensive car, but value for money, the person I know who got this car had a Porsche Macan GTS beforehand. Now that's way more money, it's slower, it's not as nice, and then they also went, and when they were looking for cars, they went and drove a Lexus LC. So I'm trying to get out of Lexus real quick, but it was I was told it was the nicest interior of any car they'd ever seen, and I was like, props to them for doing that. But anyway, went to the BMW dealership before why don't we check this out, same kind of car. Before going to the Porsche dealership, didn't make it out of the BMW dealership. Because value for money and all this stuff, it's faster, it's like more reliable, it's nicer, it has more stuff than a Porsche.
Interesting.
So if you're in that kind of like level of income, maybe go with a BMW. It's not as nice of a badge, I guess, but to each
their
own.
Porsche?
Yeah, than Porsche.
Okay, well, yeah, it's a little step down, I guess.
The car's a lot better.
I mean,
that's like me going, why buy a BMW when you can get a Genesis? Because again, what I was saying originally, I got way off topic. They're not as sharp as they used to be, but Genesis is like, I haven't driven any of the new ones, but from everything I've read and heard from other people who have them or driven them or whatever, they are the new standard for like the entry-level luxury sedan, rear-wheel drive, blah, blah, blah. The G70 is like the new 3 Series.
I wonder if their SUVs are like that.
I don't know, because they just came out with their first one. And again, we'll see if they start doing kind of really fast hot ones, which I feel like they will soon.
Why not?
It's about due for it, they're finally getting a proper division for Hyundai cars.
Yeah.
I assume they're going to get one for this too. So we'll see how that comes, but anyway.
Be interesting. War between BMW and Hyundai. Never thought I'd hear it. But
I know, yeah. It's like, what's going on there? I'm blown away. Okay, this is completely unrelated. My father sent me a video this morning. So a little while back, he went to like a friend of a friend's hangar who was basically liquidating everything like an estate sale. I think he like inherited it from his grandfather or something. In the back of the shop, there was a small little like carnival car. Like, like the little ones that are on the rides, it's really tiny. They're made out of fiberglass. It's this kind of weird body shape.
Okay.
So just think of, it's nothing specific, but just think of that. What they did was, in the 80s, they went and bought, whoever the previous owner was, they went and bought a Honda N600. Which I don't know if you remember well, you wouldn't remember them because we're not old enough, but I don't know if you've seen them.
I think.
Or Z600, put that in. Honda N600, Honda Z600, same chassis. What it is, it's a little K car. It's one of the original ones that came over here. One of the first Hondas. They were sold in like motorcycle dealerships. They're twin cylinder, 600 cc's. Four on the floor, front wheel drive. They're tiny little things. This person bought one of those cars because it was already old and it's America in the 70s. I know there's a gas crisis, but no one wants to drive around in that kind of thing. So they were cheap. They bought one of those, cut the body off of it, put this carnival car fiberglass body over the top of it, put a church pew in it as the seat, and drove it around, and it's road legal. And my dad bought it for $300. And he just sent me a video this morning. He and a friend of his got it running, and they were driving up and down the taxiways at the airport. So he told me, hey, do you and David want to come review this?
I would love to.
It makes 33 horsepower and like 36 foot-pounds of torque. And it's completely open air. All right, we'll have to sort that out.
Absolutely.
But that's...
that special episode upcoming.
We'll figure out how to do it. I've got camera equipment. We can do that. But that is... It's an absolute machine.
That'd be fun.
So that was like the big thing he sent me this morning. And oh my gosh. Because that's what he's going to work from home now. So he's like, I might as well do something productive with my time.
Yeah.
They went through a bunch of stuff. We had to like...
Productive.
Yeah, productive. He's like...
I guess.
Well, because he's been like... I say trying to get it to run. We had some issues because it has like old gas in it, and whoever put it together is just like the most like jank mechanic. Like they had like a lead that went from the battery through a secret switch because it's open air, so you have to hold this special switch and then turn the key to get it to start to kick over. But then it goes through like 3 separate relays, and then it goes to like a big stuff it's not needed. Like it I don't understand the reason of it. Like I think it was originally a 12-volt system, and they did need to convert it to whatever they tried to convert it to. But they kind of took a lot of the redundancies out of it, and it works now. They just kind of put it back to normal. The best part was he said, "Oh yeah, I needed spark plugs for it." So I went to the Honda dealership. I was like, really? The motorcycle dealership. Yeah. Oh, okay. How much was it? Like $2 a piece.
What?
And he goes, oh, they were the wrong ones. So I just went back and exchanged them. And they had them in stock because they haven't changed.
That's wild.
2-cylinder, air-cooled, absolute machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's running like a motorcycle engine? Is that what it is?
I think it was based on one. I don't know if it is one because 600 cc's. I don't know because I don't really remember. I know 600 cc's now. Like I used to have motorcycles, those are like 100 horsepower engines.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that one makes 30, which is like what a 250 water cooled would make now. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was of the era. I don't know that much about it, but I know it was one of Honda's early cars, and Honda does motorcycles, so I guarantee it was heavily based. But I don't think it was
probably.
Yeah, I don't think it was a motorcycle engine because it is mounted and it's like transverse and it's got this whole It's really weird though. Like
is it air cooled?
It's air cooled. It's a Boxer.
Cool. What?
I think it's a Boxer.
Boxer twin.
I think it's a Boxer air cooled twin. I think it's a Boxer. I don't think it's an inline. And
that's
then it's
really cool. Actually,
I could be wrong, but I think it's that. And then it goes through like this weird, like it sits. I know modern cars, they sit on top of the transmission, but it's normally at an angle, and then the transmission kind of comes back on the transfer car. Mm-hmm. It's just like on top of it. It's just straight, like, it's a real funny thing. We'll get some footage of it, but I think that could be a lot of fun.
I mean, I think the Honda Z cars look pretty cool.
They were cool. It's just
pretty neat.
The problem is, it's like, you go, wow, that looks awesome. And then you look at a photo of it next to, not even a truck, but like a Mini Cooper, like a modern Mini Cooper. And you go, ooh, I don't want to be like on the road in that. Especially in Texas where we live. I don't want to be driving down like I-35 trying to do 70 when it can do maybe 40 or whatever. I think they could do 60. I think it took like 15 seconds.
Impressive stuff.
Yes.
60 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think it could do it.
I mean, if you were really like in a bind, that would take you most places you needed to go.
Well, it's like the same reason people buy...
Very efficiently too, I mean.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, they hardly use any fuel, but I mean, it's a similar situation as to why people buy Mitsubishi Mirages these days. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I secretly kind of like them. The problem is they have no redeeming qualities to drive. But as an object, I think the Mitsubishi Mirage is cool. It's like a 3-cylinder, sounds nice, naturally aspirated, you can get a manual.
It fits a really weird segment.
Yes, I mean, the suspension's like... I mean, it's got like the suspension out of like a 70s Citroen. I mean, it's not hydropneumatic, but the way they roll around corners and the tires are like an inch wide. Not really, but they're insanely thin. I one time, just like having noticed this car existed and stuff, I one time got an Uber or something somewhere. I don't remember where I was going, but the guy showed up with a manual one. Mm-hmm. And I was with some people who were like didn't notice it was just, they're like, it's a car. Not interested at all. And I was like quietly in the back, I was like, it's kind of cool, like, not gonna lie. I think the guy was just like, yeah, it's whatever, like, didn't really care, but they're really, really cheap, especially secondhand.
I mean, cheapest new car you can get with a manual. I mean, cheapest new car you can get, period.
I don't even know. The thing is, like, MSRP is high, but if you go into a Mitsubishi dealership and you say, I've got like $10, you can have it.
They're gonna cut you a deal.
They're selling them way under. I don't know what's going on with Mitsubishi. I don't know what happened.
Good luck, Mitsubishi.
They just...
I don't know. They're not really doing anything interesting or good right now.
No, not here in the U.S. and abroad. I haven't seen it. Like, the Evo's dead.
Yeah.
The Eclipse is now the Eclipse Cross. Crossover, which isn't so bad. I mean, like, I care, but not really that much. It's like, it's different though. Like the Mustang Mach-E, I think that's a good enough car that I'm okay with it. The Eclipse Cross, it's like, it's a name that the car was so like diluted by the time it went out of production that no one even cares. It's just, it looks like a Pontiac Aztek.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I never really cared about the Eclipse brand. I don't honestly really care about the Mustang brand. I just thought it was a really odd choice that they would Mustang that SUV.
Honestly, I think both of them are really odd choices.
Yeah.
It's like they're relying on Ford can kind of do it because the Mustang... Well, that's... For Ford to do it, it's like you're messing with an institution.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mustang, like... It's
really...
I
don't care, but I see why people would care.
Yeah, same. Because I'm like, if they had just called it the Mach-E, done. Awesome. I don't know why they need to call it the Mustang Mach-E, unless they have plans for it later on.
They can even just take that horse off of there, put a Ford badge. Don't even change the grill. All their grills look like that anyway.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Just put Ford Mach-E, Ford badge.
Yeah, and it's like they go...
And I think people wouldn't be butthurt about it.
No, and they go, it's styled to look like a Mustang. It was like the rear tail lights kind of look like it. Yeah. The front looks like an Edge.
Yes.
No, they all look the same. All Fords look the same, no matter what it is. It's like, I don't understand why people are upset. Sorry, I do understand why people are upset. I don't know why they're up in arms upset.
Well, yeah, but at that point, you're realizing it's just a name, you know? Like, who fucking cares? But...
They're not replacing it, so you're okay.
It's gonna still be around, okay?
Also, you don't have to buy it. Go buy the V8 one. Go buy the EcoBoost one. You don't have to buy it.
Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, just shut up. I mean, that's like the same thing GM did with the Blazer. Mm-hmm. Aside from the fact that the Blazer went from like it's actually body on frame thing to it is just a crossover, and the Trailblazer is like a little crossover.
Okay.
I get it. It's one way of doing it. Ford's bringing back the Bronco, which was like, original competitor. Mm-hmm. The Bronco I think looks really good. Yeah. I really like the even the crossover, I think it's based on like an Escape or something like that. It'll have all-wheel drive, like permanent stuff, so it will be off-road-ish.
Yeah.
The one that's like really Jeep related and stuff like that, I think they look great. They look like the Land Rover Defender, which I really like. The new one, I think they're going to be really good. GM was just like a crossover. I think for what it's worth, the Blazer's really quick. Like, it's got their V6 in it, but
That's cool.
They said, it's got Camaro-inspired design, which it kind of does, but it's like the same thing Ford's doing. Like, all their cars look the same, so who cares?
Whatever. So, consumer advice for today. Buy a Honda Z instead of a Mirage. Unless you want to Uber people. Speaking of that, that is the cheapest car you can get, probably, if you want to Uber people. Because you have to have like a minimum age, right?
Yeah, it has. I don't remember what the age is. It's got to be fairly young.
Yeah, like maybe 10 years.
Because I had that E46 and I couldn't do it. I didn't. I was just like considering it, and I went and looked at the page. Like, it can't be more than 10 or 15 years old.
I looked at it too. I was like, that'd be fun,
Which I don't
put someone in the Miata. Just
yeah, that'd be great. But the thing is, with that whole age thing, is another thing. They go. I've seen some jank cars around here that are absolutely. Like 3 years old.
Yeah, I've been in like some Chrysler products that are being used for that are being used for Uber, and I'm like, this makes some odd noises, But hey, it's recent enough, so whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Who cares? Or the person.
I'd much rather get in like a '95 Corolla that's just like really well maintained,
Yes, and I think it might be for crash safety, which I understand.
Actually, fair enough. Yeah, they probably do
because you don't get to choose on your end, but yeah, I mean, although if someone showed up in like a '66 like Cougar, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, just take me wherever.
They should have an Uber for people who want to be driven around in older cars. I think that'd be fun.
Anyone would do it though.
Like a muscle car Uber.
You'd have to pay more though. Well, then that's why Turo exists.
Yeah.
Where you can go rent whatever car you want.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're the right age and you want to spend stupid amount of money.
Yeah. And it's like, I'd rather do that than be driven around in one, right?
Yes.
And I wouldn't pay the premium if I just want to get to someplace if I'm drunk or something.
Yeah. Just
you know what I mean?
Ooh, actually, I'm not going to remember this ride.
If I'm drunk, I might want to pay for that. You know what I mean?
You're not going to remember it the next morning, though.
If I'm that drunk.
I mean, if you're that far gone.
Can I operate my phone at that point? I don't know.
It depends. I don't know. It depends on a million things. But I don't know. I'd be fine with doing that. It's like 2 a.m. bars close. I'd like to think like some like old guy driving around. He's just like picking up like drunk 20-year-olds. Like, come on, I'll take you home. Like just a real ride-on guy, like Mercury Cougar. That'd actually be tight as fuck. Now that I've thought about that.
Start it up. Let's go.
There's a lot of business ideas here.
Absolutely. No one takes.
This is gonna be where it starts. It's gonna take us places. This whole channel. Watch our automation video. I think it's really fun.
It's great.
It's a bit lengthy.
Absolutely.
This is actually going to go out after. It's fine. Listen to this first, or watch the video first, and then you've listened to this. Well, so thank you for listening. This is not the end, but just thanks.
Yes. Well, it'll go in after, but like people might not know, but whatever.
Yeah, true. The beam video is soon to come. It should come after this gets uploaded.
Yeah.
And then we'll just kind of try to schedule stuff. That's another thing. Our upload schedule is kind of going to change a bit. It's going to be a bit sporadic in the meantime because both of our schedules have changed so much with regards to university of like not necessarily class times, but how we have to. This might just be for me, but like how I've had to reschedule like how I do like daily activities and stuff, just because of like everything's changed. It's ridiculous. But moving on, we'll have more stuff coming.
We'll still put up.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be more. It'll be good.
Yes. You sent me a text earlier, this last text that you sent. It said Joyride just released a new album. Yeah. I know this isn't strictly automotive related, it's music.
Close enough. Just talk about whatever.
Joyride. But the thing is, I was thinking about the car. I was like, Joyride is an automotive themed.
Yeah.
He's a producer for anybody who doesn't know. He produces like EDM music, like trap style music. But it's like automotive themed, like a lot of his album stuff. There's engine sounds like in some of his songs.
My favorite. I just
thought it's a weird concept because that is automotive related.
Yeah, it is.
But in like a weird offshoot.
It's a weird offshoot. The thing is, my favorite is I don't remember what song it is. Mm-hmm. I know it was like one of the 3 that were like released simultaneously or something. But there's a scene in there where it's like I'm not gonna try to do this. But anyway. That was so bad. Anyway, it's like building up to like the drop or whatever, and then it's like building up, and then instead of like just like music building up in the background, it's like I think it's a V10 just starts revving and it goes whoa, and it goes with the music. It's fantastic. It's like I was like, that's a really cool concept. The thing is, he makes it work.
Yes.
If I did that, it'd be shit.
Well, because
like I don't know how to produce.
Car engines are like not. They're not made to be used musically. They don't release like a real solid tone a lot of the time. It's
just a noise.
Yeah, and so it's cool that he's doing that with that. And I mean, I feel like his kind of music is a sort of love it or hate it sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not into it, you're not into it. That's fine. But I think it's really neat, and I enjoy his music. So I'm gonna listen to that new album.
Let's say Joyride, Joyryde.
Yeah, puts an extra Y in there.
Yeah,
it's like all in all caps.
Yeah, it's in all caps. It's all over. Like it should be on every.
He had a song with Rick Ross in it.
Really?
Yes, it's hilarious. I think it's called like Windows.
I didn't know that.
And he's like Rick Ross is like riding with Windows.
Oh god, Rick Ross.
Yeah,
man, the myth, the legend.
Rick Ross. Yeah. But I was saying, Joyride, if you're listening, you should coin a name for your genre, like auto step or like moto step or maybe like ADM, automotive dance music or something like that. Coin that and start your new genre. Okay?
Dub Rev. That doesn't work.
What? Rev step?
Rev step? That's even better than what I was trying to do.
Come on.
Rev step.
Somebody get this to this man and just tell him he needs to do this. Because I feel like if you start your own genre, that puts you know.
Sample this recording. Sample our show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sample this show, and then just sample Volvo 142.
That too.
That'd be fantastic. I would listen to a trap version of that.
I want him to do a cover of that song. With
amazing.
Rick Ross.
With Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Swedish man singing Volvo 142. Out now by Joyride. God, if that notification came up on my Spotify and whatever, I'd go listen now.
Instant. I don't
like
stop
today.
Everything I'm doing, pulling over if I'm like driving. I just
like, oh, what the hell is this? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So we're just over here pulling the strings. So you know.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do with this. We're really trying to this is how it starts. God, I was just thinking. I was like, I wonder how my dad's show's been doing. I haven't watched a lot of his recently. I hate to admit that. But I know he's got a lot of ideas for it though. The good thing is because it's all like pilot related. My father has a podcast. It's called like the Hanger Rats podcast. I think HANGARATZ. It's basically it's actually him and a friend of it. It's a very similar setup to us, but they do a video podcast. And like I've been like walking them through how to do Premiere and stuff like that. And the production quality for like the first ever like doing it is like insanely high. And then there was this a guy who was restoring with a group of people. I think it was up in Canada, like a DC-3. And they were trying to make it like all wartime era and stuff like that. They did it in an exceptionally short amount of time. And then they flew to Oshkosh, which is that big plane expo. You may not know of it. If you've heard of it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think it's the biggest one in the world or the country. It's huge. Planes flying from whatever, but they're able to get it there. And my dad was there. And while the guy basically posts the vlog every single day, the entire time they're doing it. I don't remember how many videos there were, but there were a lot. And they gained a bunch of like followers, people, whatever. And then some people would, send in videos occasionally and go like, hey, like just to shout out whatever. My dad goes, I'll do one better than that. So he set up this like little set in a friend of his hangar, and with another guy was there, and they went through just like DC-3 facts. It was fantastic. So I put it together for him and like set it in, and the guy was like, put like the whole thing in the video just for content. So
that's cool.
Because of that, a bunch of people started watching it. However, here's a plug for this. If you're listening to this, go watch this. Hey, Dad, if you're listening, you should plug our show as well.
That'd be fun.
I'd love to make them play automation.
That'd also be an interesting idea. What do you think your dad would make?
I don't know. I also wonder what Larry would make.
If
we gave him a set number of things.
Maybe set number of things.
Like a set of parameters like we did recently. And just go, hey, you need to make a car that fits X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I wonder what they'd come up with. I wonder if we could set that up.
We could possibly set that up. You think we could teach them how to play the game? It's pretty.
I mean, they know how to
click. Yeah,
it's pretty. Like I was gonna say, and they're mechanical enough to know. Like, all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, we even have trouble where, like in the last video, it was like, why is it not leaning out? Why is it not revving?
I had such a hard time doing that. You kept on saying I was running too rich. I was like, I don't get it. It's fine. Like, if I go too lean or too rich, it was like, you gotta lean it out and then change your timing.
Yeah, it's the
and then, like, you change your camshaft profile to get higher fueling. And you just have to balance all these things.
Yeah, you change one thing, it changes three things. You change those things back, you change this other thing.
It's difficult.
Automation's a great game. Like,
It's a great
honestly,
game, yes.
it's so...
No, I love how difficult it is, because you can really get down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. And then the best part is, like, if you really just want to make, like, a Dino Queen Supra type thing, you just crank the turbo up to 11. It's, like, got so much lag, and then boom, 2,500 horsepower, or something like that.
You can do whatever you want.
The best part is setting challenges like, this may be interesting to none of the people listening, but I think one of the more fun things I've done on it is I go, okay, I want to make, like, a supercar. Like, I use, like, the Koenigsegg body or something like that. I was like, I want it to have, like, 2,000 horsepower. But the thing is, I want it to be able to drive. I want it to be able to handle. I want it to be able to actually be, like, you could buy this and drive it. And that was hard. That was, like... It's the amount of, like... I think I went through 4 revisions of, like, the entire, like, body suspension layout. And I learned a lot doing that. The other thing is... This is related, but I'm almost wondering... I don't think it happened, but you know how I was like had a lot more power and stuff with the smaller engine. I know it was turboed and all this stuff, and we ended up pretty similar.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if when I had my year, because I was going through the footage when I was editing it.
Okay.
My year, for whatever reason, automatically switched up to 2013. And what I'm wondering is, I need to go look in the game or look at the recording, or hey, if you've watched it, please comment and tell us. But I'm almost wondering if me having it at 2013 and you having it at 95 means that if we use the same type of materials, if there's a difference, because technically within that amount of time, the same materials, we're using stuff now that we've used in the 90s, of course. Common rail injection on a diesel engine, stuff like that's existed for a long time, but it has improved.
Yeah.
I don't know, like within the macros of the game, if it takes that in consideration. And I'm such an amateur, I didn't even look.
It's probably fine. I don't know if the game goes that detailed to be like, well, they had aluminum heads in the 90s, but now the aluminum alloys that we use in modern engines are 25% stronger. Like, I don't know if it's gonna get like that.
I mean, the game's detailed enough to give you the AR ratio on a turbo. Like, that's pretty anal stuff.
It's. I haven't tried putting a turbo on anything in that game because I'm terrified.
Really?
Because I already have a hard enough time tuning a naturally aspirated
lower
engine.
Compression, boost it. Job done.
Okay, well, now I know.
You know, actually, a hard thing that I tried doing is, you might have seen it if you watched our other video, you might have seen it in the automation video, but I had a screen pulled up of, like, I make a bunch of crap in Sandbox, and I'm, like, bored or whatever, I just want to set myself a challenge, but I don't know if it showed the car names, but there were a couple in there. I tried to remake a friend of mine's WRX, tuned up like his was. The issue we ran into there is that automation, as far as I know, as far as I can tell within the parameters of it, doesn't yet have like twin scroll turbos and stuff like that, so you only have the single one, so that's part of it. But I pulled up like websites, and we just copied everything down straight to see what the game would spit out. Really close. So they're on their...
That's cool.
They're pretty on the money, because when I did a friend of mine's Focus ST, it was like, again, same kind of turbo issue, but you can kind of like mess with it a little bit and kind of like smooth out the power curve and stuff like that, but it was pretty dead on, so... It's
impressive
like,
game that
I'm so glad something like that exists. The best part is you can drive in a Beam.
It's great.
I really think it'd be even better if you could drive that car in like
Forza or something.
Yeah, Forza or GTA or like something.
GTA.
We can really get. Yeah, could you imagine
That'd be
that?
amazing. Yeah,
I'm
GTA
like,
would never do that. Because then people would recreate, their cars that they want that cost like $3 billion in that game.
Yeah, they would just do that or make something better.
Yeah.
The other thing, well, you probably have to mod the game and do all this stuff. Like,
but
people play
mods,
LSPDFR and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The problem is, I imagine getting that and the parameters and stuff to work and then run in the engine and then...
It'd probably be difficult getting all the suspension tuning to transfer over. And
BeamNG needs multiplayer.
That'd be very fun. I don't know how possible it is because they have such a detailed physics engine. I don't know how that'll transfer over to a multiplayer.
That's why they said no. I think I read a press bump where they go, we'll never do it. And I think they said maybe we're warming up to it, but it'll be a while.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's something easy to do.
No.
I mean, they could maybe keep all of the... I don't know if that's something easy to do for them, but if they kept all the suspension stuff but just took out all their collision physics, and just
I'd
had
play
it
that.
just so you could race with your friends on cars that you've made.
Yeah, especially if they take the kind of partnership with automation. If they take that further, then that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
it'd be like the best game ever because again, you can make whatever you want and drive it.
I had something on my mind, but I forgot now.
Check my notes. I like how when we just run out of things to talk about, it just stops.
That's a very abrupt stop too.
I just have Indonesian woman written in my notes, question mark.
I don't know what that could be.
So I'll try to link her, but there's this woman, I believe it's in Indonesia, and she does like Gymkhana style drifting and stuff like that with like, I think whatever their equivalent to a Honda Fit is. It's damn impressive.
A Honda Fit?
Oh yeah.
What?
So it's front wheel drive, but she's doing this like tiny little course, and she's got a racing wheel on his seat. She's really small and like short when she gets in it, and she's got like a handbrake, like a special
really
handbrake.
Cool.
And then there's videos of her like her Instagram account's fantastic because it'll be a photo of her just like in a park going like, oh, like have a nice day, and you go to the next one, she's like revving the shit out of like this little Honda, like drifting around cones with a handbrake and stuff like that. That reminds me of like SCCA and autocross, which I complained about like a week ago because of that whole stuff. But I don't know. This is one of those things where I have one of those moments. I go, oh, I should have been a racing driver because it's so easy and stuff like that.
I don't know if I'd consider that a career path. I don't know how people become racing drivers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all I remember is there was a woman who ran Lemons when I was really young, when I was like 16, and I did really well on our team at Sebring, and like, so like she was just like, oh yeah, like, oh, can you like heel and toe? I was like, yeah, and she was like, oh, impressive. Like, as in, and me being 16, I was like, I'm in, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this? It's Lemons, you know? Like, I was like, oh, I could drive a Solera around. That's really probably the limit of my abilities. I'm not going to be like Lewis Hamilton. Like, no.
I was thinking, like, what if I get like a really realistic sim setup and then just like grind away at like being the best like race car driver and then like go to some tryout. I don't even know if they have that kind of thing.
Tryouts? Like
I don't think they put me in. I don't think like a Le Mans team would put me in their like $1 million car and have
they go, all right, David, go ahead.
Yeah.
Show
me what you got.
Yep.
And then I've only practiced drifting, and so just like drift through Le Mans car.
I'd love to do Formula D.
That'd be crazy.
The only thing is like,
I hear it's really bad. I feel like I heard somewhere to be a professional drifter, you have to be rich beforehand.
Yes, that's what I've
You
heard
don't
too.
make money from drifting.
No, you don't.
Lose money.
Yeah,
from drifting.
that's the problem.
At the end of the day, you go from a multimillionaire to just like
a millionaire.
You're like a bum.
Yeah, like a bum. One drift event because of the amount of tires they buy. It's just stuff like that.
Too.
That's the thing. I always thought I was like, oh, watching the events, going to like Formula D, which I think I just called Initial D, but anyway, going to Formula D and stuff like that. Watching it, I'm like, oh, that's like fantastic. And then in that moment, I go, how are they making money? Like, because it's not like
is the thing.
That's the thing, and it just comes back to that, and I go,
well, they probably are. Like, they're probably making enough, but I can't imagine it's super lucrative. Just because I don't think the spectatorship is there yet.
No.
Like NASCAR, of course, they make a bunch of fucking money.
Yeah.
But like I just don't think the viewership is there for I almost said Initial D again.
Yeah, exactly.
D.
It's not just me, but like, yeah, as a sport, it's still somewhat niche.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
That's
awesome. One of those things. If I'm able to like make a lot of money, like somehow, like early, maybe this,
that'd be amazing.
That'd be fantastic. Support us. Like, subscribe, share, whatever the fuck. Anyway, if I was like able to do that and like get into it, if I could just stay equal, like not lose any money, I don't have to gain money, but if I could, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But if I could do that and just stay like just the same
maintenance,
it'd be fine. Yeah. I'd be happy.
Well, if that was your job, that's a kick-ass job.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
like I gotta go to. I'll be in Texas. I'll be at the Texas Motor Speedway. Oh, okay, cool. You watching right? No, I'm drifting a Scion IA that's rear-wheel drive for no reason, sideways around a thing. Right? Okay.
There's this FD driver, Chelsea Denofa. He drives a Mustang now, but he used to drive a BMW. I think a 46.
Yeah.
I want to say, and he was a BMW guy for a long time. But he releases videos every now and then. I can't say I've watched all of them. But the guy looks like he's having a good time. Like he went on I believe he went on Daily Transmission with a E36 compact that he had.
Oh, wow.
And he put a I don't know, the M50, is that the one, M58, S58, whatever, one of the M.
If it's a straight 6, it's the S54 from the M3 from the E46.
What did I say?
You said M58, which was like, sounds like a gun, but like it's close enough.
Whatever. They from one of the 3 Series M cars, he put it in there, and that was like his like practice piece of shit car that he drove around, which is great.
To have that as a practice car.
Yeah, and then he did a video where he was drifting. He was like, "Can you drift a mid-engine car?" And he drifted a first-gen MR2.
What?
Excellently.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, welded the diff. It's making like a little more power." And then like he likes to put attached to the handbrake that's there just to like a lever that comes up to extend it. And that's like, I think, the extent of what he did. Oh, like lighter wheels, I think, as well. Okay. And that was it. And then he just goes and drifts this thing like it's nothing. That shit's impressive. You know what? Chelsea Denofa, you should sign on the Drifts and Lifts guy. I actually don't know his name. Sign on the Drifts and Lifts guy. I feel like you two would get along. And he would, sing like...
Wait a minute, I've watched Chelsea Denofa's videos.
Yeah.
I just remember like passively going, it's like how to drift. And he's just casually, it's this shitty little base model E46. He's just like whipping it around his little truck. Anyway, keep going. Yes, Drifts and Lifts.
I think you should sign on. I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like those two personalities I think you should join the Denofa team.
Could you imagine Denofa and, I can't remember his names either, but Drifts and Lifts, Team Volvo. Could you imagine if they got Volvo sponsorship?
Yeah, that's the thing. With Drifts and Lifts, it's like, because I believe Chelsea's sponsored by Ford now, is why he's driving a Mustang.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could get the Drifts and Lifts guy out of a Volvo.
That's
you know
the
what
thing.
I mean?
That's his.
I don't know if you could get him out of a 740.
Yeah, it'd be great though, because it's like, oh, new, we've got this Ford, whatever, whatever, and they had some older cars like some Miatas, but I'd love to see him going around and like now in 2020 in a Volvo 740, with like some hopped up engine that Volvo specially made, and just have.
I want to still be running the fucking red blocks that they have.
Honestly, if he could do that, hilarious. Which I think he could.
Just like nitrous turbo, just like everything.
And just it's this built little like block.
Yeah, like the new Volvo engines are pretty great because they have the supercharged and turbocharged one.
Yeah, I don't know if that would hold up though for that kind of thing. I know like as an engine, it works great on the road, but I don't know if it's going to hold out at like 8,000 RPM
with some nitrous
sideways
and stuff,
with nitrous with like no air moving over it because it's going sideways. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, good luck, I guess.
I'd love to see that. Are you trying to find his name still?
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name. I'm gonna look on Instagram.
My favorite is like his videos. He just goes and drifts a thing and like whatever. I don't know if we've talked about him before. I feel like we might have.
We probably. It's just he's one of my favorite things on YouTube.
Just in general, like the stuff he posts, especially in social media. My favorite is scrolling through Instagram. You're going through and it's like, oh, photo of a car, and then you just see his video and it's him taking a Volvo 740 wagon or like sedan at a sort of berm as fast as he can and jumping like 30 feet into the air, but it's fine. And then he just goes woof and then like fixes it and does it again. It's the best thing ever. And then like his girlfriend's into it too, and he has given her some car and they like did some stuff like that. They only buy Volvos and he has so many of them. Yeah,
and I feel like it's all 700 series. I think so.
He does. I think it's the last one that was rear wheel drive.
Yeah. Or there was
maybe
a
the 900s were.
I don't know if those were sold at the same time. I honestly can't remember.
I think they were. It's the same thing but different.
The 900s and the 700s I feel like are pretty similar in terms of Volvos. But yeah, I can't find his name for the life of me. Whatever.
But anyway, what is it? Drifts and Lifts.
Drifts and Lifts.
DRIFTSNLIFTS.
Yeah.
YouTube and Instagram.
He's Canadian.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
I wonder if Chelsea Denofa is Canadian. I don't want to offend him, but he looks a little Canadian. I have the feeling. No, not at all.
I think we should end on that. Chelsea Denofa, if you're listening,
Are you Canadian?
Please get us back.
Because you need.
Sign Drifts and Lifts because that would be the best pairing in history.
My God.
Take over Initial D, not Initial D, Formula D, and show the world. So anyway, that's been it from us this week. We're back to this. We'll have some more videos coming later on, like we mentioned. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Jacob.
I'm David.
And we'll catch you next week.
Volvo. Ja. Och min Volvo 142